World of Warcraft. For almost 20 years, this game has been one of, if not, the most popular MMO of all time.
And this is me, Gazania Dak, and I don't know what I'm doing.
So, why am I deciding to play it now? Let me quickly explain. I didn't grow up with WoW. Actually, I grew up with RuneScape, which I've been playing for the past 14 years. I have made a lot of memories over that time, but the most memorable moments in those 14 years aren't from when I knew everything about the game, but from when I knew nothing. I feel like the best memories that I actually have are the ones of confusion, frustration, and being a completely fucking useless noob. As said by Winnie the Pooh, we didn't realize we were making memories, we just knew we were having fun. So, I'm deciding to try WoW, in the hopes that other people can relive those same memories through me, and maybe I can find some of that magic for myself. And then I created my character. I saw this guy, and Poe from Kung Fu Panda for some reason, but I ended up choosing this guy. He's part of the Horde Alliance, which I'm not really sure what that means, but I'm sure that I'll figure out later. And then I had to choose the name, which I just used the random generator until I found one that I liked, which was Gazina Dak, I think. Then I created my character and I joined the game. So my journey begins on a boat. I walked around for a bit to get used to the controls before accepting my first mission, which is to beat up some fucking chum cool combat damai. And I'm gonna tell you, to say I was overconfident would be an understatement, because this dumb straw-faced fuck didn't know it was coming. And then I went over to my poor victim and started laying into him. And I'm not gonna lie, I pushed my one key so hard, I basically lost control. What the f... And then, after defeating him, I came after his family. And then, I went to claim my reward. I was then tasked to spar with Throg, and I leveled up for the first time.
Throg will spar with you for now.
And I sparred Throg.
I concede. Your strength will see our mission through.
So I suppose that this is where my journey really begins. So my character wakes up on a beach, spooning some orc dude called Darkrug. I smack a craft for good measure and talk to Grimax. He wants me to retrieve these first aid kits from some murlocs or something. So I head off in search of these murlocs so I can retrieve these first aid kits for my crew. And luckily for me, they were literally right here. So I slay my first murloc, and upon looting it, I find some copper, a first aid kit, and some dented plate boots, which I wanted to equip. So then I spent the next few minutes pressing every single button on my keyboard until I found the inventory. And there we go. So after all that, it turns out that they're pretty much the same anyway. So I demolished the remaining camp of murlocs and headed back to Grimax, which resulted in me leveling up again. And I noticed that I had a new ability called Shield Slam, so I added that to my ability bar. I then used the retrieved first aid kits on Throg and Poe's brother Bo, apparently. And then I used them on the rest of the crew. I spoke to Grimax and then we all headed north to find the remaining survivors. I came across some women who just needed a good feed, so I killed a porcupine, leveled up again, used a new ability, killed a coastal goat, cooked the coastal goat, and then Wansa started talking about some quillbore or something, and then I used a passive ability on my ability bar and I couldn't figure out how to take it off. Grimax then took me through some combat training, and then I was ready to kill these quillbore things that I've been hearing about. We headed north once again until I found some guy who talked about some quillbore ritual or something. He then tasked me with killing some Geolord Gregok and some quillbore. So I ran into the forest to find these little rat fuckers, and in no time I found them and ended up button mashing my way to yet another flawless victory. Fuck yeah. I also helped this other player kill this Ogre Overseer or something, which then it gave me this battered cloak, so I'll take it. So I continued to kill the quillbore, and I leveled up once again, which gave me a new ability, which I also added to my ability bar. I then finally found him, Geolord Gregok, who was keeping captive some green rat. I made quick work of him, saved the rat, and then headed out of the forest to regroup with my allies. And then we had to search for Grimax's daughter, Shuja. And guess what? The Green Rat had some ideas, which involved him using some makeshift enlarging device to enlarge this helicopter, which I was then meant to hang off to scout the area. Without hesitation, I noosed myself to the helicopter and took off. To which Grimax made a good point.
If it has a camera, then why does someone need to be up there? We need a backup plan in case your recruit gets dropped like a rock.
Fucking rat. Within minutes, I spotted Shuja, who was being held by some kind of spell, and this orc dude talked about reviving some dragon or something. With the newly acquired intel, I returned to my allies, and the fucking rat had yet another plan, which was to use his enlarging device on a boar, which happened to have the opposite effect. So I tried it again, and this one just straight up blew up, which he seemed very happy by that, which then I blasted this boar into oblivion. So it turns out we now had a new plan to actually use the enlarging device, which malfunctioned, as a weapon. I leveled up again, added another ability to my ability bar, then I jumped on the helicopter once again, and returned to my mission. Which took me a while to actually realize how to shoot the gun. I don't know, I was flying around for like 5 minutes, I don't know. Which then I finally figured it out and started nuking the area. And to my surprise, the makeshift machine started malfunctioning, which then dropped me and somehow didn't completely shatter both my knees. And then Grimax teleported behind me, and we ran to save Shuja. I then found myself starting yet another intense battle. Wow. I then spoke to Shuja, and completed the quest, which rewarded me with a new weapon. She then started talking about how they were going to revive the dragon or something. I equipped my newly acquired weapon and headed out to explore the area. First, I found a shop and sold some items that I assume I wouldn't need anymore. I then spoke to Throg, who mentioned some quest about some dude on a bridge who wanted to die. So I ran over to said dude on bridge who wanted to die.
Is there no one who can grant me glory in death?
Who said that he would teach me a new skill if I killed him. So without hesitation, I accepted, equipped the new ability, and smacked him. I then did some other quests, which involved me going down a spider hole, killing a spider in the spider hole, fighting some magic wizard dude in said spider hole, killing the magic wizard dude in the spider hole, and then riding some dead antler woman out of said spider hole. Okay. I then had to rescue some Herbert dude from some angry chicken. After a brief scuffle, I put this big bitch in the fucking ground, and then decided it was time to carry on with the main quest. I returned to Grimax to see what the plan was, which is to turn me into an ogre, and my level up gave me another ability. So when I was ready, I accepted, and this Herbert guy fucking beamed me until I turned into this ogre. I was then ready to continue with the plan, which was to sneak them inside to find their friend. So I made my way into the ogre camp and started to search for their comrade. I found their boss, who seemed to be some two-headed orc dude. I was then given some prompts to write /dance, which was interesting, I suppose. Yeah, I like this game. Then continued to find their comrade, who was being held in place by some magic. I was then given multiple quests to do, which involved killing Jugnug, Wug, and Grunk, slaying some ogres, and destroying some catapults. So I wugged on Wug, destroyed a catapult, hit Jugnug and his Jugnugs, killed some ogres. I then found a chest which was full of rocks, which I put in my little pockets anyway. I then grunked on Grunk, and I killed the ogre chef because he had a stupid little hat. I then handed in my quests and started to free the cowman, which I didn't realize I could have actually done before I did the other quests, so he was just hanging there for no reason, but I freed him in the end. I gave him the ward stones that I retrieved from Wug, Jugnug, and Grunk, and then I reached level 10. Let's go. And now this is where it gets interesting, because I was given a menu of 3 specializations, and I decided to go a Fury because I think it made the most sense with the weapon that I had. I then went to the talents tree, which is interesting. After a quick read, I decided to go with this one. I then made my way to do another quest that I saw, which just involved me freeing this light spawn guy who was trapped by magic. So I got to work and started purifying these necrotic energy things. And in no time, the light man was free. So my reward for doing this was getting this thing called light speed, which I thought was a spell that I could use. So I then spent quite a long time looking for the spell, and after looking through literally everything, I decided that these things in the top right must be it. So I clicked on it, and it just completely removed the effect. But moving on, I then found this sign mentioning a bear that takes 3 players to kill. Pff, does this sign know who I am? I'm fucking Gaza near deck. I ain't afraid of no fucking bear. So I found this pussy bear pussy. Wait, hold up. Look, I'm usually pretty good at these things, but this time was just not the case. So I tucked my overbite between my legs and booked it. But this wasn't the last time this bear was gonna see Gazania Dak, I can tell you that much. So I went back, but this time I had backup. And I don't know why, but this time it was super easy, and this bear went down in no time. So I stabbed it in the butt and took my epic reward, before moving on and claiming my actual reward, which was an upgrade. And then we killed it again, because fuck you, that's why. I then decided to carry on with the main quest, which involved joining a dungeon, which my dumbass didn't know that you need to be the party leader, so I left my party of friends and joined some random one. So I clicked find group, and just moments later, I was hit with an enter button. So I entered my first dungeon, joined by my new random teammate, and we got to work. We made our way through the dungeon before being met by some big dude called Tunk. It was actually kinda cool. It was actually like an interesting boss fight compared to what I've been through so far. Like, he had abilities and everything, which was cool. But nevertheless, we killed Tunk, and I was gifted Tunk's toothpick, which was my first blue item. So I equipped it and moved on to the roof, which I was greeted by a familiar face, or faces. I started smacking Gorgoth with my new toothpick, who then decided to sacrifice himself to finish the ritual, which was actually kinda cool because we ended up fighting this cool ass looking dragon, and I was actually finding myself liking the game more than I thought I would. So I went back at it, button mashing my way through this combat system until he started to charge up some attack, which I very quickly ran out of the way. I then used my signature finisher and stabbed him in the butt, and just like that, the dragon was dead, which rewarded me with a ring, a rare ring. I then talked to Grimax and we got out of there. It looks like the reinforcements were here, after we already killed everything. I then decided to change my specialization to the two-handed one, because I thought that made more sense, before completing my final quest from Grimax. And it looked like it was finally time to leave, so I jumped on the Wyvern and we headed out. Where I was going to go, I had no idea. But as I found myself flying over the island, I actually was excited to continue and play more, so I'm not sure where I'm gonna end up, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what awaits.